You wanted to talk about this Pusha T because did we get to the fact that exclusive audio footage is now streaming?
No, we were supposed to start off with that, and then we
And
ended
then
up
we
jumping
just
into the
ended up
next.
going into it.
Yeah,
You
keep it
know,
bombarded.
I was happy to see this on my streaming platform. I'm on Apple Music. And yo, you've been telling me about this album for a minute. I was pleasantly surprised. It took me back to the early Neptune days for the nerd fans out there. In Search of. It sounded like In Search of to me.
Push
With
is like 20 years old on here, Mike.
23 years old.
Okay, is
Said
that
it
is
came out in
that
99. I love the
right?
album. And you know what? It stood out to me that Pusha was the first verse on there, and a lot of those beats they used for other people and all that. But they were talking about a lot. And it
Yeah.
never turned into one of those things where they were just, one dimensional. I don't think that they were supposed to be like that. And the album starts with Malice praying,
Yeah.
which is,
See, he was always headed towards that, Mike. That's why I
yeah,
was never surprised. He was always headed towards that.
which I thought was dope.
Hmm.
I'm glad this got released, man. I see that people had issue with again how we rated Pusha's album, and I'm gonna ask you this because I heard from another person that they listened to it in the new way that it was formatted, where it was Pharrell songs and then Kanye songs, and they said they made the album sound better.
So let's address a couple things. First of all, Pusha was 21, not 23 when they did exclusive audio
Oh, I
footage.
was just saying it was 23 years ago.
Yeah, it's
My bad.
23 years old. Pusha's 44. So he's 21 on that album. Malice, I think, is like 24, 25.
Yeah.
You can hear that Malice is the more polished MC in terms of vocally being able to record. But can you hear the Cool G rap, Jay Z and Pusha T even early on? Like the
Mm-hmm.
rap, you see how he's flowing reasonable doubt, like Can't Knock the Hustle style.
Oh, let me go to this super chat real quick before you get into that. He said, the L Web says it was written as too polished for me. Beat wise, I prefer the laid back, jazzy production of Reasonable Doubt. I think that's where I'm at with it too.
Okay,
But
I mean I can respect that. I just think beat for beat it's comparable, and I would like lean slightly on it was written, but not by much. More about the weaker tracks on Reasonable Doubt than the stronger ones. But you know, splitting hairs. But I'm okay.
yeah, so Pusha T's influences.
Yeah, you can hear the Cool G rap and Jay Z like hustling, like rap rhyming fast, scramble type of pace to the rhymes even early on. He hasn't his flow hasn't gotten sick yet, but you can tell where his inspiration is. Malice is already more polished and
Mm-hmm.
even keeled and knows how to measure the bar and knows how to punch on the mic and knows how to audibilize his voice better. So you hear that on exclusive audio footage. You can tell who Big Bro and Little Bro is. That's why I tell people when people are like, when Lord Willing's popping up and people are like, oh, I don't know who is who. It's like, oh, well, that's because you weren't listening to the first project. You would know who was who. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're following the first project, you can tell where Pusha becomes more polished and learns how to vocalize himself more. You got to catch his delivery was always more slippery early on. He just hadn't refined it yet.
Pusha's had an incredible career, man, and it's like, at Daytona, we were looking at him coming into his own as a soloist. And I think in some of these interviews that I've been seeing recently, they're saying that it's almost dry. It's better album or the best album of his solo career. And again, I was thinking, man, I need to listen to It's Almost Dry the way they've reworked it because I've only listened to it in its original state. But like I said, since they've changed it to where all the Pharrell songs line up and all the Kanye songs line up, I'm hearing it sounds better that way. Is
Well,
that
now,
where you coming from?
well, yeah, that's part of it too. But let's address the other part of it. Like, well, Apple need to give me a fucking check because that was my idea, and literally after I said it, they took it and stole it. And I know that we're on their streaming platform. Just because we're on your streaming platform doesn't mean that you get to steal my shit. So what somebody needs to do is work out arrangements to like pay me for like stealing my idea, or I'm gonna run the fuck up on y'all when I see y'all somewhere somehow eventually. I'm not like Mike. Mike is nice and like very diplomatic and kind. I'm not gonna be kind when I see you. I don't like niggas taking my shit. I definitely don't like corporations taking my shit, especially when Mike, are they cutting us a check for being on their streaming platform every month?
No.
But they need to cut me a fucking check for stealing my idea, fuck nigga. Right.
Well,
So
somebody got to holler at us, man.
since they listen to our podcast, listen to that and fucking find out a way to pay me for stealing my idea that apparently is making Pusha T's album sound better
You
than the
just
real
made
version
Pusha's
of the
album
sound.
better.
Huh?
You just made Pusha's album better.
I told you when I heard it, it's like, well, this is two separate albums. If they would have just lined up one side and lined up another and added a couple more tracks, it plays brilliantly like a dark side and a light side, or a cold side and a hot side. But like trying to mix it together, it doesn't play as well. But here is what I want to say. We were a little bit wrong and maybe stepped ahead of ourselves slightly when saying that Future's album is better than Pusha T's album. What we're saying is we enjoy what Future did, and we feel like his degree of difficulty was higher. Future didn't have Pharrell and Kanye like in his pocket the entirety of the time for years to come up with a project. Future hasn't been running around talking about he had album of the year. But what both of the albums are really at the end of the day, for respective different reasons, are fours.
And he didn't release 3 songs before the album dropped, too.
That was just dumb. I don't care what anybody says.
It
That was
took a
just
lot
dumb.
of steam out of the album. Rick
A lot
Ross
of
says, all love, but fuck this. No fear of time. People are loving No Fear of Time. We gave it a 5.
Gave it a 5. This is what I'm saying. People are like, oh, well, he's still number one. It's like, okay, so he's still number one. He did like 55. What if I would have told you he could have held it and did 100?
Yeah, at least 80. Ray Rim says, did either of you hear Pusha T's sentiments on To the Casket Drop? They were
I'm going to
touching.
talk about that right now. Yep.
What
That's
did
what I wanted to
what
talk
did you
about,
think
Mark.
about that?
One, I want to bring up something. This is
Oh,
what
LP says, how good is an album if you have to reformat it? I agree. Go ahead.
Insightful than a mother. So he says he didn't like Till the Casket Drops. Main 2 reasons. And pretty much this is what he's saying in code. These beats were too happy, and my brother was about to quit on me, so it's a painful memory to listen to this. But some of their best stuff is on there. Like
I like Doorman a lot.
Popeyes with Cameron.
I like.
Oh yeah, that's one of Pusha's best verses. Speak of Freedom is one of his most personal and insightful verses. The way he starts off Till the Casket Drops. What else is
I think the Neptunes let them down production wise on that.
They did, because they're there. Doorman, Never Will It Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. There's been a murder. I'm good. No. There's heat on there, but listen to what I'm saying. Oh, that album don't have shit on Hell Hath No Fury. And that's what Pusha's really talking about, because Hell Hath No Fury is Pusha T's style of rap. He has spent so much time in his career acquiescing to Pharrell making these types of albums, and that's why I didn't love this for him, because here's another thing he brought up in that interview, outside of telling the interviewer that he hates Till the Casket Drops. Well, he also let it out that Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe was his favorite beat that Pharrell gave him. And what did I tell you? I told you that was the only beat that Pharrell gave him that really fit him. And he pretty much admitted to it. And all I was saying was that stop asking this all-time great MC to step into your production box when you are more than capable of stepping into his MC box. The album should have sounded like Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe and Bramlton. Not all this other colorful, fancy shit you trying to do to make yourself sound good. Make the artist sound good. Because when everybody's talking about Pusha T's mic performance, this is what I keep trying to express. It's not that the beats are bad. Are the beats for him? He just admitted that Dreaming of the Past was a Ye track that Ye came up off of when he heard Brambleton. These aren't even his tracks. Give this nigga tracks that fit him, because when you give him tracks that fit him, like Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe, he performs at If You Know levels.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what we got with Daytona.
Yeah. These niggas trying to be cute and shit with their beats and with their attitudes and their lifestyle. You don't treat all-time great MCs that way, even if it's your fucking homie that you've known since he was a little kid, and even if he's been signed to you, he's still an all-time great MC.
He probably still views him as that, you know?
No, it's showing in all this, even from the way he's talking. I was like, because he said, Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe was me and Pharrell's Glaciers of Ice, and I'm thinking, well, you just should have kept making Glaciers of Ice. Because that's what they did on the Purple tape.
LP says Carrie Hilson was on the album. That's all you need to know. Oh, man.
That Stepping Out song, that beat was awful.
That's all you need to know. Okay. Well, Jack Harlow's getting released Friday. We're going to talk about that Friday. He released a track list. He said he had... Go ahead.
I got a couple more push-up points
Okay, go
because
ahead.
this is what I mean about how they weren't trying. First of all, I want you to understand this. When is the last time just two producers the caliber of Kanye and Pharrell produced an album for a major label artist like this? When's the last time it happened? Can you think of a time where two producers of their caliber and their stature
Just in
produced it?
totality,
Yes.
um, damn, I don't know.
Right. That's why this album is getting talked about like this by us. When you're like, damn, it's dope. It's like, yeah, but it's not what it's supposed to be. Listen to who's involved. This is Pharrell, Kanye, and Pusha T involved after Daytona. It ain't supposed to be no fucking four.
Yeah.
All right. So and this is what I mean about not trying. Remember when you were telling me I was thinking too much about the whole neck and wrist verse where he should have took that sample from Wamp Wamp with the JoJo dancer?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, Pusha T is ending the verse talking about Richard Pryor because he make Richard Pryor references a lot. Who's the star of JoJo Dancer?
Boom.
You're not listening to your artist when he's rapping. You're not listening to your artist when he's rapping and even going back into your own catalog to make the song hotter and more hip hop oriented. Because here's another thing that I want to submit to you. Don't want him to be a mixtape rapper. Don't the Black Star album that's a fucking 5 sound more like a mixtape album than that Pusha T shit? What you talking about, mixtape rapper?
That sounds like some future shit, man. Like the Black Star album just sounds like, man. I hate you mention that because it makes me look at the Pusha album even lesser from a production standpoint. Because we talk about what Madlib did, and we talk about what Pharrell and Kanye did on it. It's not even in the same stratosphere.
Y'all ain't even fucking with Madlib on that Black Star project. No, you're not.
No.
You got like one beat on there that's fucking with him. One. One. Between the two of you niggas, you made one beat that's fucking with the shit that's on Madlib.
Yo, man. Madlib's on some other shit right now. And I love it. The timing couldn't be more perfect.
It's flawless. Now, here's the last point that I want to make. Like, these things Pusha be saying is real. I realized something when I was listening to Brambleton. Pusha still talks his street code like a street dude. He keeps talking back in Brambleton. That's when Pooh got hit. See, he took that personally. I realized, you know who Pooh is? That's the same person that he's talking about on Lord Willing on Virginia, Shampoo. I'm lost in the men too. I miss you, Shampoo. We miss you, Shampoo.
I didn't even put that together.
Right, Mike. He's going back when he's telling this story. It's like, no, nigga, you remember when we was selling that shit for you and our homie got hit behind it. Don't act like I wasn't in this game. That's what he's saying. Because at the start of the third verse, it's not verse of the year, but that beginning is the coldest shit of the year. Where he was like, it was said, watching Vlad interviews really was me. He channeled it through you. Listen to what he's saying. So many answers didn't have a clue why Michael kissed Fredo and Godfather too. He's like, nigga, you know what we did. Why you talking to people that you ain't got no business talking to? That's why he kissed Fredo in the scene, because he found out Fredo had been talking to people about the family business that he had no business talking to. So he's contextualizing the Vlad interview like, nigga, you up here talking this shit about me knowing that you don't have no business talking at all.
Brambleton's my favorite song on there. He took it there.
He took it there, and he's bringing up the Pooh things multiple times. Like, nigga, don't you forget what happened to the homie either. Right.
Jay Short with the super chat says, with Pusha and Future not meeting expectations and Kendrick up in the air, is the lane open for the game to be taken over in hip-hop? He's been underrated. And you know what? That's somebody that we just not talking about. The Game does have an album coming out. The Game, and he seems to be working with some heavy hitters too, and he's hella consistent. He's always working with heavy hitters.
He is, but also too, it's like, well, we were hearing stuff about it, and then it just kind of, the talk has kind of ceased. So it's like, that's kind of on him. But I mean, lane is open right now. Ransom actually proved with his project, the lane is completely open right now. It's completely open.
Yeah.
Ransom
MC of the year right now is Ransom.
He just slid right into MC of the Year talk, just like that.
MC of the Year is Ransom right now. I think that most in Talib have put their, name in the hat as well. Especially Talib, man. Talib did his thing on this album.
This is his best mic performance. This is one of those things. It's like, not on no shut up and dribble shit. It's like, damn, if you can rap like this, it's like, no, I don't want to hear none of your interviews if you're going to rap like this, nigga. I don't want to hear you podcast. No, I don't want to.
I wanted to turn it off halfway through.
Page. I don't want to hear you pulling up on According to Hip Hop's Instagram page either. How about you just do what you just did? That was great. That was flawless.